Assalamualaikum. So let's start this tutorial about Java inheritance. Java inheritance is simply passing on of the characteristics from superclass to the subclass. That is simply like you are being given some characteristics from your father, but you do also have possess some your own. So it's that simple, and I believe that you know that concept as well. So it's we have covered the basic concept, that is just get getting some properties from the parent class, or like here we have a declaration like it is the superclass that is just defined in a simple manner, class animal, and then we have a class dog which extends to animal. Like it will also have the inheritance of this class. It will also have the method and fields. It can also access the method and fields of this class, while it will have some of its own as well, as mentioned in comments here, right? So that's basic concept of inheritance. And here we can just simply know about some more methods to call the classes and their objects. You can just simply look into it later on. Uh, there are all these examples. I will drop you a link. Now, Java method overloading. Okay, sorry. So this simply means that if same method, like same function is defined in both of the classes, like the dog and the animal have the same function, then this characteristic or this function will be overridden in a way that whenever this function will be called, uh, the dog function from the dog class, then override it, then the new function will be called. Like if you and your father have the same characteristics, and if we talk about the same perspective of that characteristic, they're like walking. So if we know more if you want to know more about walking of yours, then we will be saying that you walk slowly. Your father may walk fast, but since we are calling fetching information from your side, so in this perspective, your information will be displayed. I hope you are understanding that if we have the same function name here in superclass and the child class, and when the function will be called via dog class, um, then this function will be preferred over this while calling. Okay, this function will be displayed. So this is meant by overriding. Like it was already there, but since it's also here, so if this class is being used to call this function, then we will prefer this function to be called. This function is actually then called uh, primarily. Okay. Now you can just see some of the rules that should be positive in order to override. Like you have to mention, you have to name both methods same. Both methods should have a same return type and same parameter list. I hope you all you know all these terminologies. Okay, so final and static cannot be overridden. The methods, since they are declared once, and we should always override abstract methods of superclass. We will definitely discuss it later. Okay, so now we have the function, the super keyword actually. What it actually do is like we have already discussed that if we use the dog class to call an overridden or an overridden function, then uh, mm, with that function will be called, which is actually जिसका actually class का object use किया जा रहा है. Like if we use dogs object, then the dogs function will be called, no matter the superclass do also have the same function. But when we have to call uh, with this function while using this class, like when we have to call the superclass function by the overridden one, and but we want to use the subclass, then we use super keyword. We just append it like we just add super dot calling the function like this, and then it when we use this object of the subclass, then it still, and then it displays I am an animal. Like it also accesses the function from the main class. So now we're going to discuss about the abstract class and abstract methods. So I will explain them in just simple Urdu because it's a bit tricky one. I hope you will understand. So abstract class is just a class जो कि हम actually जिसको use नहीं करते for direct calling. Like you define a class and then you create a subclass of the abstract class, and you just use only subclass, and you just print everything, do everything with subclass. बेशक आप जो है ना मेन क्लास से भी यूज कर रहे हो चीजें, and this somewhat seems like something nonsense, like why you are declaring a class when you don't even calling it. So the reason behind doing this is uh, you have to program something a really a big complex thing, you know. You have to program something really complex, and you don't want it to be directly accessed in the main program, due to the fact if the main if the complex class will be called in the main, then it can be manipulated in any way. So what we do is we just use subclass methods. The subclass objects are allowed to manipulate in the abstract class. So that's how we do it. So that is the main concept of this. Like we declare an abstract class, we can declare abstract methods, we declare regular methods in this as well. But we do not call it in the we do not make objects of the abstract class. We make the objects of subclass, and then we call, then we use the objects of subclass to uh, to avail the functionality of the abstract class. Like we are defining some method in the FMS and in the abstract class, and then we can just call through the objects of subclass. So that is the basic and the main concept of this. Meanwhile, you can look more into the details and resources here. Now we have the polymorphism concept, and polymorphism can be achieved via three different methods. That is method overriding, method overloading, and operator overloading. Just let me just give you a brief of this. Like method overriding, we have already discussed it above in this section. Java method overriding, that is a type of polymorphism. We just define the name of function same with everything same, and then just we call it and we just differentiate it with the different objects. Now, what is method overloading? Method overloading simply means that method names can be same, but the parameters defined within them can be different. Like if we have the function that is the name of method, then how we can differentiate it with the same name of function is by defining different parameters inside it, or changing the types of the parameters, the number of the parameters, the type of the method itself. So that's how we do it. Java method overloading, that is just a technique to differentiate the methods while calling them. Like when we just calling the same functions here, uh, here in the main, you can see when we use d1.display, it displays something else, and but we again use it d1 dot display, and we give it an input which is a parameter as a string. We give it hash as well, so it gives input like this, you can just see the declaration of the whole code as well to understand what's happening here. But that's not the main point. The main point is just uh, we can have the differentiation between both of the samely named functions by just changing some parameters inside or just changing some types. So that is simply method overloading, and operator overloading is नाम से जाहिर है that you when you just uh, reprogram the main concept of the operators. That simply that simply means that you can just redefine its main function, but it is only available in the C++ language. In Java, we cannot reprogram the functionality of this operator. So operator overloading is not available to be customized in Java. Lastly, we have the concept of encapsulation. इसका simply जो main मकसद है, it is just to avoid accessing the main variables of the class or main methods of the class directly. We define some methods or some ways um, just to just to uh, access the main part of the program. It cannot be accessed directly in on the very basic level. You don't understand its purpose, but it has a valuable purpose on a real classified program. So what it simply do is just we just call some constructor in the main, rather the main method or rather the main variables. What this do is it fetches the value for the main variables, like what we call in the main is this constructor, and what it do is we enter the values of length and breadth into this constructor, and then this constructor gives this value or further forwards that value to this main variable, and then this main variable is used to do any further operation. So that is the main concept of encapsulation. Like you just want to avoid using the main variables or main methods, you just use a third party, we cannot call it third party, we just call it like we just wanted to avoid someone to directly manipulate these variables on a classified level. It can make a lot of problems in the code. It can also modify some methods or variables unwantedly. So that's the main concept. Like this actually gets the value first, then it gives this value to these variables, and then these variables are used to be calculated here, and then that display is then given. So that's the whole concept of encapsulation. Yeah, you can just read all these lines just to know what it actually does further. That's all. Let me know if you have more queries. Thank you.